It was Christmas Eve, the tree was glowing, the family was gathered, and my own brother blocked the doorway, looked me in the eye, and said there was no place for losers in his house, behind him. Everyone just watched. Hi everyone, I'm Jolie, and that moment, that silence from my own parents as my brother called me a loser, that was the moment I decided to pull the single thread that would unravel his entire world. He thought he was exiling me. He had no idea he was cutting his own lifeline. Before we dive in, tell me where you're watching from right now. Couch after a long day, kitchen counter, break room at work. Drop it in the comments. Your stories matter. This is Revenge Chance. I used to love Christmas. The cinnamon candles, the snow that made everything feel forgiven. For one day, I could pretend we were normal. But I wasn't just the sister or the daughter, I was the fixer. Late bill? I paid it. Car broke down. I was the ride. Jacob lost another job. I covered the mortgage, kids' tuition, daycare, groceries. Done, done, done. My mother called it generosity. You've always been so responsible, she'd say with that proud but relieved smile. Dad never said much. He just handed Jacob another excuse. And I told myself it was love, maybe guilt, or maybe I just wanted to earn a permanent seat at their table. The truth was simpler. Helping them kept me useful. Being useful meant I was tolerated, and in my family, tolerated felt like the closest I'd ever get to loved. But last Christmas I tried one more time. I baked, I bought thoughtful gifts, I showed up with hope in my chest. And I got a closed door, my brother's smirk, his voice ice cold, no place for losers. The worst part wasn't his words, it was my parents' silence, that quiet, approving silence, driving home something cracked, not loud, just inevitable. I realized I wasn't part of a family. I was part of a system, one that only worked if I stayed quiet, kept paying, and accepted my role as the designated loser. I didn't sleep. No place for losers, looped in my head. By sunrise, I was at the table staring at my December budget. Kids' school fees, mortgage top-up, my own handwriting looked like someone begging to be let in. I logged into my bank. 5 years of transfers scrolled past, my entire history of silence, every line a payment, every payment a plea. I didn't feel rage, just bone-deep exhaustion, the kind that feels like truth. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Auto payments for tuition, utilities, their entire life gone. 5 minutes to undo 5 years. I waited for guilt, braced for it. It never came, just this incredible lightness, like someone finally opened a window in a room I didn't know was suffocating me. 3 days later, the texts started. Confused. The kids are waiting for presents. Angry. What's your problem? Desperate. You've changed. I let the messages stack. Let him sit in the quiet he never thought I could give. You think this is fair? The kids are suffering. Co-workers froze. I looked at him and said quietly, "They're your kids." He laughed. Responsibility suddenly matters. I said, "You're right. I'm finally taking responsibility for mine." And I walked away. You can't walk away from family. I almost smiled. Family? Is that what we are now? Jacob, stop. It was Kelly, his wife, pale, hollow-eyed, holding a thick folder. I met with a lawyer today. I watched every drop of colour leave his face. She knew. The gambling, the lies, the hidden accounts. Every dollar I'd sent for the kids' school, he'd pulled it out and lost it at the casino. She had the statements. He spun to me. You told her? I just shook my head. I didn't have to. The money trail I'd built trying to help had finally spoken for me. Kelly left with the boys. She sent me one photo months later, them building a snowman. Real smiles. Helping someone finally felt like winning. Jacob lost the job, the house, the friends. He blamed everyone except the man in the mirror. My mother called once. You're making things so difficult for him. I said, maybe now he's finally being himself. She hung up. and for the first time their guilt slid right off me. I'd spent years mistaking sacrifice for love, duty for worth. Help without respect isn't love, it's servitude. And I was done. I kept one line from Kelly. "We're safe now. You gave us that." Driving past my parents' street later, their house looked smaller, like a stage after the actors have left. I didn't slow down. Maybe I wasn't the loser after all. Maybe I was just the first one to stop paying for a seat that was never really mine. When the truth finally decides to walk, it doesn't need you to carry it. You just have to step aside. If this story of quiet courage hit you, if you've ever had to draw a line that felt like breaking chains, hit like, share it with someone who needs to hear they're allowed to stop paying. Subscribe to Revenge Chance for more. And tell me below, would you have kept paying to keep the peace, or cut the money to reclaim your life? I read every single comment.